Please remember to like, subscribe, and never forget to ring that bell.
What's going on, everybody? I am Chris Knight. This is Bad Batch Roundtable here on Khaos Central. And, well, we have people who aren't here. We have some people who are here, and we're going to do the best we can with it. There won't be any polls tonight because the amount of time that it'll be turned around to get it done with 3 people is just too quick. So we will forego the polls tonight unless something comes up and we deem it necessary. But we're going to go around really quick and have these other 2 gentlemen who are with me tell you about themselves. We'll start over there with Shifty. Shifty.
Oh, no.
There you are. Hello?
Hello? Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Shifty.
You're there.
Hello? Okay.
Shifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I accidentally turned off my Kindle. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can.
Hey, do it in your Dusty Rose voice.
Oh, my God.
This is funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the American Dream, Dusty Rose, but this is actually Sifty. You can find me on Twitter, SiftyGism. Oh, my goodness. Is that good enough?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, you can find me on the Twitter. I don't know why you want to, but I'm there. But I'm here now. Everything's fine. How are you?
Line from...
What up, Guy Scar? Ashton.
Yes, what's going on, guys? What is that from? Ghostbusters.
No.
Ghostbusters? No. Oh, yeah. Star Wars. Duh. Oh, I'm sitting there trying to remember where that's from. Everything's fine. How are you? Very nice. Danny, tell everybody about yourself. What you got going on?
I'm Danny, a.k.a. Comic Chat. You can find me on Monday nights with Chris, Anzo. Eli Who last night was pretty good.
Where's
Next
Elijah?
Monday be, I don't know where he's at. Next week we'll be on Chris' show, Rule of 3, next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow night you can probably find me on Guy Scar's channel, The Hangout, and then I kind of lurk in the chat depending on what Anzo's talking about on his show, the OOC. And of course, our normal time for this is on Sundays, and then Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on Storms Live with Robert Storm, Anzo, Adam, Guy Scar. So, ready to chop it up this week about the Bad Batch.
Yeah, sorry guys, we weren't able to do it last night. There was 2 nights ago. Last night because I didn't get to it in time. And then 2 nights ago because of a little sporting event called the Super Bowl, which we'll leave at that.
Foosball.
Anyways, I am Chris Knight, Real Review 3000 is my channel, as you can see right now here. And I don't know why this thing happens. It's like every time I go to change this, it like leaves parts of it up where I don't want it. It's very questionable. There you go. All right. So, with that said, we're going to talk about the Bad Batch, episode 7 and 8. It was the Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. Overall thoughts. So, we're going to do this a little differently than we normally do since it's just the three of us right now. Eli won't be here either. So, but let's just kind of go through it, and you guys can give your overall thoughts, likes, dislikes. We'll wait on the predictions and on the grades till after that. So, Danny, give me your likes, your overall thoughts, all of that stuff. Go ahead.
I really like these two episodes because last week was really a nothing burger. Didn't have any rhyme or reason to me. But seeing the first few minutes of this one kind of drew my attention in. And, of course, Bail Organa, he always piques my interest. It's like him and the Emperor playing chess. And I think the Emperor knows who he is, but he doesn't know. He knows some of the stuff the Emperor doing, but the Emperor is like 6 or 7 moves ahead of him. The way the Emperor was able to manipulate Admiral Rampart was a thing of beauty, because if you watch the last few episodes, you think Admiral Rampart is kind of working independently to try to hide the fact that the clones or the Bad Batch are still alive, but the Emperor knows they're alive. So I'm like, damn. And I didn't even really see it coming until a few minutes before, when he was setting Rampart up anyway to further his objective. So Emperor's on point as always. So these 2 episodes are starting to make me think they're heading in the right direction as far as a plot. And maybe we're going to see a rhyme to the reason what they're doing. Dave Filoni, he starts off really slow, and kind of some of the episodes are disjointed, but now it seems like it's kind of coagulating, I guess is the correct word, and it's kind of joining together. And so I'm happy with the direction it's going on. I hope it continues on these next 6 or 7 episodes. So I like it.
Okay. Is that just your overall thoughts, or do you have likes, dislikes, and all that?
Like I said, I really love both episodes. Not really any dislikes that I can think of. I think it would have been better if it would have been another clone. Because now I got a theory about. I guess we wait to the end. My theory on this whole clone thing. I've got a theory. I was like, wow, if it's this, then the Emperor is truly the master of playing people in position and things. But nothing I really didn't dislike.
Okay, very good. All right, Shifty.
Okay, this was a great 2-parter to close out the first half of the season, pulling the good to bad ratio dead even for me. There's 4 good episodes and 4 nothing burgers. But it's funny, the 2 best episodes of the season doesn't even feature the Bad Batch, which is kind of like Book of Boba Fett. Which, by the way, Jon Favreau just came out today and said they should have called the Book of Boba Fett The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, which makes a lot of sense because,
Watch your mouth. That's disrespectful.
Well, no, even Jon Favreau said it. I mean, he said it should have been, titled The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. But yeah, it was a good 2-parter. The Clone Conspiracy always makes for something compelling. Hopefully they can build on this, possibly shifting between the Bad Batch and the group Cody is seemingly putting together. I think maybe at some point Crosshairs might move over with him, and now he's got Echo on his side there, and they can go back and forth between those 2 groups maybe. The whole political thriller vibe was cool, as was Palpatine flipping the script at the end, like Danny said. Also, like that they toss in a nod to the Martez sisters by working their garage into the mix. Hopefully, they'll come back at some point. Would be nice to see them in live action on Andor or something, since it's the same time frame. But yeah, it was a good 2 episodes.
Anything you didn't like?
Yeah, outside of the blue senator lady looking and sounding too much like a mega, nothing really. But that was like my main issue, and I think even Longa said it, was complaining about it on Twitter. I mean, they didn't really differentiate the look between her and Omega too much. I mean, she was just blue, and it was like, wait, I mean, that's weird.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this will be a quick episode.
Well, no, we're gonna talk some more about this before I go into my stuff. How do you think? And you brought it up, Shifty. The whole cousin says, "I'm sorry, this season is a snooze fest so far. If it wasn't for y'all, I would be out already." Well, thank you. I'm glad that. Well, actually, I don't know if that's like, are we like holding you hostage with it? No. So you mentioned the Bad Batch not being in the first episode, but that is also the first episode where, when they've gone away from the Bad Batch, they weren't on Crosshair either, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't we said this quite a bit about other shows? It's like some of their best shows are the ones where they don't even have the main characters for that series on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that? What do you think that says for this series in particular? Shifty, you can go first on that.
I just think oftentimes they concentrate too much on action with the Bad Batch than actual meat and potato storylines. I don't know if that's to pull in the casual viewer or market it to kids or whatever, but and I don't know. I like I said, I keep on saying it. There's not as much going on this season as last season. They had a lot of threads going on, and this. I don't know. It's too much action for the episodes to concentrate on the Bad Batch or just storylines that don't matter, like the treasure hunt and the riot racing episode. It just doesn't compare to episodes like this where they actually dive into a interesting storyline that deals with an ongoing plot line.
Okay. And what do you think that says, Danny?
I don't think a show has to always have the star. And I'll give you two shows, and that's going to really tell my age. But Andy Griffith show. There's several episodes where Andy Griffith's not in it, or very small. Don Knotts holds majority of the screen time. Also, it's been reversed where you don't see Don Knotts. And Don Knotts kind of, I know it says the Andy Griffith show, but Don Knotts kind of steals most of the scenes. And there's been a season where Don Knotts haven't even been on there. And to me, it's not as funny without Don Knotts. The season that was just Andy Griffith was not as funny to me as when Barney's on there.
No, there was like 5 or 6 seasons without Don Knotts, and yeah, they were
about 5 or 6. I know it was definitely one, maybe two.
They did because they went to color and all that. Yeah, they air them every day here before the news.
Yeah, I watch them every day here, and also another one like the Waltons. Ralph Waite is the star of him and Olivia and John Boy, but there's been several episodes where you don't see any of those. So I don't think it's necessarily a must-have. I mean, you can't go 4 or 5 episodes without them, but 1 or 2 here or there, I don't think that's a problem. So, and I don't have any more recent ones, but those ones just instantly came to my mind. But I don't have a problem with. I definitely have a problem with the Mandalorian, because the scenes and the episodes that was without him, it kind of was, to me, world building and character development, another aspect of it. So as long as the story that's not directly involving said star, as long as it's building the world, then I don't have a problem with it. I mean, this is Chris Knight brainstormed Khaos Central, but there's been several times because of his work schedule and stuff that we've done it without him. Same thing with me. Same thing with Hanzo. Tonight we're doing it without Hanzo. I think the shows are still good, and we don't necessarily have to have all the moving parts. But as long as someone's in there and still kind of driving the story, kind of driving the channel, then I think it still can be good.
Okay. I got you.
Last season, the Hera 2-parter, was there an episode that didn't have the Bad Batch in it? Because I know it shifted heavily to her storyline.
I think they did one where it was mostly on Camino with Omega.
Uh-huh. But you know Hera from Rebels, they did the two-parter with her. Did that have the Bad Batch in both of those episodes, or?
I really don't even remember last season, all those in that detail like that. I remember some of it, the gist of it, but to remember specific episodes, I would have to kind of refresh my memory.
There he is.
Yeah, spoke him up, spoke him into existence.
What's up, guys?
What's going on? Well, so we were kind of just giving our overall thoughts and likes and dislikes kind of all at once, and I was asking questions. We were discussing stuff into there. Really quick, let me get your side on this. First off, let's just ask you, what does it say to you that the first episode of these two, episode 7, didn't have the Bad Batch or Crosshair? It was completely without any of them. And we've talked about it on other shows, be it on The Mandalorian or other things, where the main people for the series weren't on it. What do you think that says? Does it matter? What do you think about that?
It's funny because I was like that the first episode where they weren't in there. I'm like, yo, this episode was fire, and the second episode had them in there and it was good too. But I just find like a lot of the episodes are so much better when they're not in there. I don't know why it's like that. I think they end up putting the Bad Batch in like these little heist kind of things that they have to do, like let's go on this mission, but then when they're not there, it progresses the story. So I think they have to do a better job of progressing the story with them involved in the story.
Okay. What are your overall thoughts, likes, dislikes for these two episodes? What do you think?
Overall thoughts, I think these were the best 2 episodes of this series. Even of this season, to be honest. I mean, even of the whole series, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed, the way we were getting to see what's going on with the clones and how they ended up, getting the stormtroopers to be part of the Empire, the Major. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. Only issue that I had is I'm like, why does that blue girl sound so much like Omega?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Say the same thing.
Like she sounded exactly like Omega, and then when Omega came in there, I could tell the little bit of a difference.
Maybe
but they still sounded the same. Yeah, I think there was. They still.
She looked like her too.
She looked like her too. Exactly. I just thought they could have did a little bit better on that, but there wasn't that many negatives in this episode, to be honest with you. One thing I could say is, I understand Palpatine is always ahead of the game and stuff like that, but I don't know. It just seemed a little bit far-fetched that he was like, I guess, had everything as planned out. Like, okay, if they get caught, then we're going to say this. I'm like, well, you didn't expect. Well, I guess he had the Force. He could have probably foreseen it, so that really don't make sense. But I don't know. I just was a little bit way too convenient that as soon as they find out that this guy destroyed Kamino, Palpatine pops up and is like, oh, yeah, he was a rogue and all of this, I don't know, it's just weird.
Does that, well, and to that, which I'm not saying that you're wrong, but to that point, though, isn't he already kind of knows these things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Danny said it. Like they said, like Rex says, he's like, he was ahead of us during the Clone Wars, he's ahead of us now.
Yeah.
It says 7 steps. He's always 7 steps ahead.
Yeah, so
yeah.
It did. I mean, I think that right there was more to the point to bring him in this episode, this series now. So, because everybody wants certain things. I mean, Vader, Emperor, stuff like that, and that helps the series. But
we get more of him than good. You know what I mean? If we get more of him in the episodes now, I guess he would be the one in charge now. So we're gonna see more of that. But I don't know. It just seemed like I get it. He's there, but it just seemed convenient. That's all. It just seemed really convenient.
All right. So my overall thoughts, just like the rest of you guys, these were the best episodes so far this year, for this season. I don't think it's an issue because, as Danny said, the world building. So we were all pretty sure that the clones are going to be made obsolete, and we're not sure exactly even yet what's exactly going to happen to them. We know that Palpatine has something in store for him, but it was really kind of nice to get a lot of that storyline. Basically, this is like they said, okay, obviously we're behind on developing the storyline because they could have been putting let's go back to the original Star Wars. Every time there was a screen wipe or something, it was literally like saying, this is happening now, but over here. So, like, if we see the thing going on in the Death Star where they're sitting around the table, as soon as they wiped, if it came from, Obi-Wan, I can't remember right offhand to see by seeing which direction or what steps they go in. But if that scene happens right after Obi-Wan and Luke find the Jawas slaughtered, then that's happening right then, just somewhere else in the galaxy. They could have been doing a lot of that screen wiping and adding the first of these two episodes. So episode 7 could have been scattered in all of these other episodes. So that's one thing I will say bad about it. They could have sprinkled this in. Now it works very well in one big, here you go. But I think the reason why they did that is because they know they're way behind where they need to be on that storyline. We all felt that they were going to do this. But I think that they could have sprinkled it in, and it could have been more interesting, kind of helped some of the monotony of the other ones. Especially if they started right away with it. The second episode, though, I think was really cool. I like the fact that they had to literally go to Camino. I mean, that puts some risk to it. I mean, we all know, they got plot armor, so they weren't going to die.
You mean Coruscant?
Yeah, Coruscant. I'm sorry, yeah, Coruscant. So they, I liked all of that. The Palpatine thing, I will say, even though I can explain it, it just seems like a little too convenient. Like, why would he even show up there? They're still going to take him. I guess it's because they know he's caught and they don't want him to say anything, and so maybe that's it. Although I will say the one thing I didn't like about episode 8 was when, was it Tech that stayed behind with Rex?
It was,
or
Alpha, what was his name?
Echo
stayed.
Echo. So my question there is did I miss something? Did he give any clue that he was going to do that?
I think once he saw what was happening and he felt like he was needed more with Rex, because he's really not a part of Bad Batch. He just joined them because he was all jacked up when they had him inside that machine controlling all the different robots and all that stuff. And he felt like he was, since he helped kill so many of his brothers, I guess he felt like he needed a new start. But now I think Rex is kind of maybe forgiving him, I guess, so to speak. So he feel like now he has the opportunity to kind of redeem himself and help Rex try to save his brothers.
Is it Rex or Cody?
Captain Rex, ain't it? Captain Rex, ain't it?
For sure it was Rex.
I thought it was Cody. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was Cody too.
Captain Cody? I thought it was Captain Rex.
I think it was.
Because he's got the C on his face.
Well, it's Captain somebody.
I'm looking here.
Because that first one I seen him when they first showed him, it was Rex.
I think it's Rex. Let me check.
Yeah, it's Rex.
Okay,
it's Rex. The only time, I just don't think that there was any real lead up to that, and I felt it was kind of weird. I won't say it's bad. It just was kind of a weird way of doing it. I don't think he's done with the Bad Batch. I just think that it's going to all come and culminate together. So, I just think it was kind of weird how it happened. So, but overall, the 2 episodes were really good. I think, they needed to be done. Somehow they were able to let Omega not be with them when they went to go do the main portion of it, and it worked out better than normal. which I think was something that happened in the first part of the first season, was at least she was with Kaminoans, and that helped. So now she didn't get lost, she didn't run away, she didn't do any of that, but she had some purpose because she did kind of talk the one Kaminoan into testifying. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. I looked it up. They're using both Cody and Rex this season, so I got them mixed up.
Yeah. I heard that, but this is Rex, and so I have a feeling, and I'll wait because we're going to talk about predictions and.
It's Commander Cody and Captain Rex.
Yeah.
So, Danny, why don't you start with some predictions you think that these two episodes are?
I'm going to hold on because this is a far one here, boy.
So something like what I would do. Good. Go
this as we've seen, Palpatine is always 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody else, and he always has something in place to tie up a loose end. So what if we thought that Admiral whatever Rampart or whatever was acting? Well, I thought he was acting on his own, and when he killed that first trooper, he said there's not going to be a report that a Bad Batch is alive. The Emperor knows the Bad Batch is alive. The Emperor had the Caminos to specifically augment them to have special abilities: tracking, technical advance, sharpshooter, and super strength. What if he has those, made that Bad Batch to eliminate the clones once he was done with them? And there's maybe a second inhibitor chip that we don't know about. He's going to activate that, and then they're going to start taking out the clones. Why would he? Why would he keep the Bad Batch alive? Because everything else he always kills off, have us eliminated, but he know they're alive, and he's not trying to kill them at all. So I think he has some plan. Maybe not what I'm saying, but he got some kind of plan for the Bad Batch to do something, or they would have been done dead. And why would he make them a specific skill set? That specific group, they seem to work better than the rest of the clones. You got a special power or skill set that the rest of the clones don't have. So there was some reason why he had the Bad Batch made and created. You don't know what it is now. I think there's something to type a loose end or something.
That is interesting.
That's my theory.
What do the rest of you guys think about that? Shifty?
It could be a possibility. I really haven't thought about it yet. I'm still, taking the season as it goes. I'm more thinking about the tie-in to the Mandalorian is supposed to come up than that, but that's a really good theory, though.
So, okay, do you have any theories?
The reason what made me think that, I'm sorry, shifting real quick. Made me think that I was watching a short today, and there was a particular mission that Darth Vader was on, and he was wondering, does the Emperor got a secondary inhibitor chip? And I don't trust these. And he killed the clones that were there, the stormtrooper clones. He killed them that was on the mission. He don't trust them. I'm like, damn, what about if the Emperor does have something like that to take out additional enemies or secondary order in that inhibitor chip? So if we had it for
what episode was that, or what were you watching?
No, this was on a short I was watching today about Star Wars. There was something in the comic book or something, or like some of these guys, that really dig deep into the lore. And they were saying on a particular mission, I'm not sure what the mission was on, but Darth Vader killed all the clones that the Emperor assigned him because he didn't trust them, because he knew what they did with Order 66. So there may be another secondary order in the inhibitor chip. I mean, it's just a theory. And that's what created my theory about the Bad Batch. Why did he create the Bad Batch? Why would he?
Well, do we know if what they were talking about in there, did they say if it's canon or not?
I don't know whether it was canon. I don't know whether it was, what's the other thing?
Legends.
I don't know.
I mean, because most of the time on the shorts, they do say in canon, and some of the comic books are canon, of course, some are not.
I never really read I got one Darth Vader comic book, so I really don't know the lore in the comic books. But in the comic books, they're saying he's like, it tells a lot of his exploits and missions and all this kind of stuff. So I would have to research it to see. But yeah, all I feel like very strongly, the Emperor made the Bad Batch for some reason. What that it is now, it has not, in my opinion, been entirely revealed to us. So what is he making them for? What he made them for, and why is he not killing them yet? Because he got some kind of use for them.
Yeah, but I don't think he actually made them like that. I think they just came out like that. They were like a bad batch, right? I don't think he specifically said, I'm going to give you these certain powers. I think they just came out like that. I also don't think he knows they're alive. I think that's one of the things that guy kept to himself, right? Because knowing if the Bad Batch is around, he's going to be the one that takes the heat for it. So I don't think he told Palpatine they're alive.
Mm-hmm. I think Palpatine knew.
I mean, he could. He knows everything, but
I mean, it could have been foreshadowed. I think, that kind of stuff. Like everything is as I have foreseen. You love to say that shit. So,
Be interesting if if the Emperor ends up playing a bigger part in this. That'd be interesting. Okay. So, Shifty, do you have any theories?
Not outside of them kind of referencing the Mandalorian with the cloning process that they've been, hinting at with Snoke. Maybe they find that there's another cloning facility and there's, another program going on, just the beginnings of one where the Emperor's trying to clone himself or Snoke or who knows. But like I said, it's supposed to intersect somehow. It may not be a big thing, but somehow it's supposed to tie in with the Mandalorian this season.
Well, we know because the book for Episode 8 explains that Palpatine is cloned, that there were still cloning. There was still cloning going on, which is funny because in 8, it might have been kind of interesting if they had kept one comedian in there to help, because they are known as the cloners, not other people. So he has to learn how they did it. Well, they've destroyed all that, so he has to. I think between the clones and all that, that might lead to that. But Anzo, do you have any predictions?
No, not really. I just think the Bad Batch are going to be the ones that are going to probably unite the clones. We'll probably see a little clone versus stormtrooper battle. I think the stormtroopers will obviously win. Some clones will survive and some will die. I think that's how they're going to end up wiping out most of the clones. But other than that, I don't really have any predictions.
I think it'd be interesting if we heard people in the older movies talk about the second Clone War, because obviously, from what we know, with the original trilogy and what we've seen so far, there isn't going to be a second Clone War. We didn't hear about a clone uprising either, so whatever happens, it's going to be very quick. I mean, that's it, because at this point in time, if they do something where it's supposed to last a long period of time, you would think that they would have mentioned that or whatever. But I don't know. The second inhibitor chip thing, like I said, I'll look into that and see if that's it. If that has some basis in canon, that might actually be an interesting thing where they have to fight themselves from doing something. That'd be interesting. So, I don't. Go ahead.
But wouldn't they have found the second inhibitor chips when they did all those scans last year when they had the first removed?
Well, possibly, but what if it was something more? So the inhibitor chip programmed that, in a sense, because when Order 66 happened, they switched from we're fighting with the Jedi to we're fighting against the Jedi. So the chip programs it. Well, if you take the chip out, what if it's programmed that when you pull it out, it does something else that you don't know about? So once you take out the inhibitor chip now, at certain point when XYZ comment is said, or when XYZ event happens, or something like that, it triggers the secondary programming to kick in. Because that would be a fail-safe to keep them from pulling it out. Or you get what you want still. So either way, he would win. See, because, again, going back to the calculation that the Emperor does, if the Emperor thought this out, he's going to say, okay, a certain percentage of these clones are going to, at some point, take out that chip. A certain number are not going to take out that chip. So, if I fail-safe this, where if they take out the chip, they then become my own army again when I want them, so I can take out the other ones.
Either that or Omega's the Terminator.
Oh my God, I could not. I would not be able to stand that. She just comes up and starts taking that little bow and arrow and like, just killing everything.
Man, I have a feeling they might give her force powers.
You know, and I saw that. I saw that. I'm like, but how? How do you do that?
I'm reading here now, and they said the Bad Batch were clones who were created with desirable genetic mutations. So I don't know whether the Emperor gave the Caminos the green light to go ahead and do it, but they were made with those specific genetic mutations.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Emperor may not have done it, but if it's Dooku, like we all pretty much think it was Dooku, because according to the
I think he did it because they had it says here they had the inhibitor chips in it, but then they were able to resist it, I guess, mutation itself for a crosshair. But all the rest of them were able to. So if he didn't do it, then if somebody did it on their own, then why would they put the inhibitor chips? I think the inhibitor chips was something the Emperor designated for all of them to have. So I'm not certain. Trying to read it.
I was going to say though. The whole force power thing though, that kind of worries me because. And what I was going to say is that Count Dooku, when we watched what was the short series,
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. Yeah, when we saw that, we know that he was playing as Master Sifo-Dyas, and that he went and he ordered the clone army, and then he hid the Kaminoans' location. So there's a very good chance that the Emperor sent that message with him. So, but yes, you're right, Danny, that if they were going to, why would they do that without instruction to do so? Because they're not going to make clones just to make clones, because they make clones to make money, or they did.
It'll play out. We'll see if we see it this season next, but I'm thinking he had a hand in it. And I think he made them for a specific reason. What it is hasn't been revealed yet, but we shall see one way or the other.
Okay. What do you think of that of Omega and possibilities of Jedi?
I don't know if it's something I really want to see, but as long as they do it right, I don't think I would have a serious problem with it. I don't know. I think now, if it was, she would have been an exhibit something, maybe able to see the future or some kind of maybe using telekinesis or something, some kind of force sensitive awakening. I think we would already seen. We hadn't seen anything. So I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, but right now we hadn't seen the first sign of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if she is. And maybe it's going to be brought on by some really stressful situation that she.
Did we already see it though? Maybe
I don't know.
Beginnings of it, because didn't she get the Kaminoan come in and testify? That Kaminoan literally sounded like when she first walked in. That
what do you think
she was
Jedi mind trick? What do you think?
She might have did it by not knowing.
You have to do this because that was our home planet and this and that. So because she did that, she was dead set on not having to do it or not going. She's like, you don't need me. Whatever I say doesn't matter. You have to have proof. So if you have the proof, you don't need me. It's literally what she was saying.
I don't think she will be. I mean, because they kind of said, like, I mean, she was doing the, the what do you call it? She was sitting up there and she said, I can't sense anything.
Meditating.
Yeah. She's like, I can't sense anything. So I think that might have been, the answer. No, guys, she doesn't have the Force. She's not a Jedi.
I'm not saying she. Go ahead.
Then, I mean, if she does, that opens up a whole other can of worms of, like, well, was Django, did he have the Force and all that? And I don't think they're going to go that route.
Yeah, isn't her and Boba Fett like twins? Boba Fett hadn't displayed any Force.
Kind of. So that's. I think that's.
Wait. Okay, and this is going to make me go back to the thing I hate most about the prequels: Metachlorians. Metachlorians are what is Force sensitive, and it chooses. It's in everybody, so it's not that you can't have it. It's being able to tune it and having a certain amount. So what if metachlorians? She has enough of them, and it's just how
it's dormant. You guess.
Think about this. Have you ever been around what is it, like a Tesla coil, and your hairs on your arms kind of stand up? They don't, but they're not. You don't get shocked.
Yeah,
it's almost like that. It's like she might have things and she can't control it. Think of Grogu when he stopped the animal in the first season. Things like that. Maybe she didn't know it. Maybe when she's looking at the Kaminoan and talking to her to get her to come and testify, her intentions were so direct that she was trying to get her to come testify, that what mild force power she might have took over enough to make it work. But she's not literally understanding it or knowing she has it yet.
I think if she would have done that one would have, the comedian would have said, I didn't mean to say that, or say something like that. Like, how did that happen?
Again, she doesn't have that full
but
control of it, so maybe they don't know. I mean,
wouldn't the Caminos would have known that she had a high midichlorian count?
I would think so.
Yeah.
But was that comedian? Was she one of the scientists, or was she just actually just another diplomat or something like that? You don't know whether she was actually a scientist or not.
Well, she was a part of the defense program with the Senate.
I'm talking back on Camino. Wouldn't they have known that she had a high midichlorian?
But maybe they hadn't been revealed to us yet, though.
I don't know, but if they do pull that, I think that's going to have. I think more than likely if they reveal that, and they're talking like they're doing the Thrawn storyline, Omega might possibly be the Mara Jade character. I hope that doesn't happen, but I just think it's too far fetched. I mean, she doesn't need to be a Jedi. I hope that doesn't happen.
Wasn't Mara Jade like the hand of the Emperor?
Yeah, and she fell in love with Luke Skywalker and all that. So
that would be an interesting twist.
What I'm just thinking. I'm wondering if they would do. I don't see the plus side of giving Omega Jedi powers.
Yeah, I don't either. We should stop talking about it.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right, grades then, guys. Grades. Danny, how do you guys do? How do you start?
I get both of these B plus, A-, somewhere in that.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Shifty.
A- for episode 7, B+ for episode 8.
Okay. Anto?
I like both of the episodes. I'll give them a B+ each. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I think I will go A- for 7 and B+ for 8. For sure. I'm trying to find out here about Jedi mind tricks and stuff. It doesn't say. It says Thaleen, Huts, Kadarians, Geonosians, and Deshad, however I said. Chameleons are not in there. Anyways, I don't know. I hope that this goes forward in a direction where now, here's another plus side of this with having Echo be split off. Now you can have Echo episodes, you can have Crosshair episodes, and you have Bad Batch episodes. So maybe that's another thing they're trying to do. Is like let's do more around the area. So I don't know. With that said, let's go around and have everybody introduce themselves one last time, and we will call it a night. We'll go down to Anzo, since you weren't here at the beginning. I'll let you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and what you got going on tomorrow night with the OC.
What's up, guys? Big for Entertainment. As Chris said, tomorrow night, Wednesdays, 9 East ST will be the OOC. Not sure what the topics will be yet, but pretty sure we'll have something good for tomorrow. And haven't seen any cop stuff going on, so Danny might be in luck this week.
Wow.
There's still 24 hours.
Yeah, there's still got a few more hours to go. I agree. But other than that, man, just pleasure to be here and great 2 episodes. Thanks for having me.
Hey, when the Canadian cops beat that person up, did you show that on your show? No.
I don't think we did,
I wonder why.
Nobody cares about Canadian cops. Only Americans will. All right.
They be talking about them balloons flying over y'all country now. I think China's trying something.
Oh yeah, you seen they shooting down those little spy balloons or whatever.
That we got chemical spills and train derailments that they're not reporting on, and all sorts of stuff. It's getting wild.
I think some kind of biological warfare, man. There's an article out here that in 2025 there's supposed to be a drastic population drop. I mean, drastic.
What did I tell you guys in January? I said there's gonna be some shit happening this year, man. And I still stick to that. I think there's gonna be some weird shit. I don't know how bad it's gonna be, whatever, but I think that there's gonna be something weird happening this year.
Well, as long as I get to see the Mario movie before that happens.
Really?
Shifty, go ahead.
I'm Shifty. I'm still Shifty. You can find me on the Twitter and maybe this week on the semifinals for Name That Tune If It Happens, hosted by Chris Knight and Dee Bradley. And that's it.
All right. And Danny.
I'm Danny, aka Comment Chat. You can find me here whenever we broadcast the Bad Batch. Also Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find me either on my show, Chaotic Conversation, Anzo's show, which we had last night, the Chaos List, and next Monday, will be the Rule of 3. Sometime I lurk in the chat on Anzo's show, depending on what he's having on Wednesday, OOC. Usually I'm on the Hangout, Guy Scar's show, and Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on Storms Live. So, very good show. And we're doing this in honor of JJ, who we definitely miss. So,
yep,
for sure. I'm Chris Knight, Real Review 3000. My channel, I also do Han Starver's channel, either Jackbox Games, stuff like that. Do that on my channel also. And then, of course, here, as Danny and Anzo both said, every Monday we do our shows. And, yeah, that's about it. So, with that said, guys, thank you everybody who did show up today, and we really appreciate it. If you're watching afterwards, please consider liking and subscribing. We are over 300, I think.
Yep, that's my check. We're 300.
301.
301, there you go. Yeah, so just help spread the word, let people know about the channel, and that's it. Everybody, have a good night.
Peace.
Adios.